The worst part of Amigos of cleanup, because I've done it forever.
Yeah.
A million times. The women's room.
Oh, dude.
And here's my theory on that. Because none of them want to sit their pretty little ass on a fucking toilet.
They all hover.
But I seen who you left with last night, and I know you didn't wrap it up, Carl.
Oh, my
You know,
God.
sit your ass on the toilet and piss, please.
Off the cuff is perfect.
That's what I want.
So why don't we just say welcome to episode 7 of Big Fat Tattooed Dad podcast.
Yeah.
Sitting across the table from Rick Coughlin.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bartenders in the entire town. Dude, I'm super glad to have you here.
Yeah, I'm great to be here.
So I've known you about a year, right? Kind of.
I mean, I've seen you around shows for a long time.
Mutual, yeah, same
Yeah.
for sure. But I guess the first time we really like started talking and
Right.
kind of being bros about it, it's been close, probably
Yeah.
in this last year. I'm sure we've punched each other in the head a few times at shows wherever.
It is what it is.
Oh man, it's crazy how many people from Legends are going to end up on this podcast.
I'm stoked because honestly, it's right now we're in some crazy fucking times. You know, straight up. I'm not even gonna lie about it. You know, like I mean, right now in Maine, we're in a 9 o'clock curfew. That's where I make my money is from 9 o'clock on.
Yeah.
And I'm not making any money right now.
Yeah.
It's hard. The COVID is messing a lot of things up. And after the 9 o'clock curfew came into effect with Janet Mills, she literally gave us 20 hours to throw money in the trash. And I don't care what anybody has to say about COVID or how everything is going on right now, but I understand where that comes from. Because obviously after 9 o'clock, everybody wants to get drunk. We all want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And people are congregating together and they're not doing the right thing. And right now, I understand that. But give us some time to put policies into effect. Because I literally had to find out in 20 hours that I'm laid off from one of my jobs.
Yeah.
I finally found something I love to do. I love bartending. I love it because I love
bartenders.
I love people. I love working in bars. I love having fun and making people have fun. You know, I've been a bouncer for a long time. I've been a bartender for almost 2 years. But I honestly think it's really going to screw everybody up right now.
It's definitely messing a lot of people up, dude. A lot of my best friends are bartenders or business owners,
Yeah.
restaurant owners,
You know, and it's, you know, like, I'm honestly at a point where I think I'm going to have to find a daytime warehouse job or something just to make ends meet. You know, and it's not like, it has nothing to do with politics because I don't get into that.
Right.
That's not my thing.
Sure.
You know, it's, I have my political beliefs and this and that and whatever. I'm very neutral. But give us some time. You know, this is like the third or fourth, fifth time in this whole pandemic, in this state at least. I don't even know, you know, anybody else in other states that are dealing with other things. But right now in Maine, like, this is at least the fifth or sixth time.
Yeah.
We've had to deal with this.
Yeah. Extensions and changes to the rules and
sucks.
phases.
You know, I've seen business owners have to just pretty much throw money in the trash.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Well, I mean, the first time we were supposed to go to like phase 2 and reopen, there were a ton of restaurant owners and bar owners and business owners that were like resupplying for the first time because, you know, they ran on such minimal stock due to the fact that they had such minimal business.
Exactly.
And, you know, they weren't using money that was in the bank. You know, they were maxing out credit cards or going negative to put the fucking stock back into to the restaurant or the bar or whatever.
Big time.
To hit that next peak. You
Yeah,
know?
and then 2 days before reopening, you get the rug pulled out from underneath you.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
It does suck, man.
It's because there's a lot. It's not like it's Chili's or Applebee's it's like people who are trying to build a business, trying to build a thing for themselves.
Yes.
And they're not able to do that right now.
Right.
I'm seeing so many businesses closing indefinitely, and at least for the season, that would be open all year round.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Years ago, I got out of the service industry because I thought it wasn't that big of a thing. This, that, whatever. Because all I was a cook at that time. But I got into bouncing, got into bar backing, finally got an opportunity to be a bartender. And that's my money.
Yeah.
It's, it's easy to, work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You deal with the bullshit, this, that, whatever. But when you finally find something that you love to do, you're hanging out with your friends, you're having a good time, meeting new people, creating money for a business.
Yeah. And yourself.
And having a great time. And to see that all just go down the drain.
And so quickly, too.
So quickly.
Yeah.
So quickly.
Yeah.
I went from making, everybody wants to complain about people that were on unemployment during the quarantine and this and that, making $600. It's like, with full unemployment and the extra $600, that's 2/3 of my pay.
Right.
You don't get that. I'm sorry that, you took on a trade. You took on this, you took on that, and you're only making this. I can't help you, man. But, when you're good at what you do and your people come out to see you and tip you well and you can walk away, with credit cards and cash, like $400 or $500 a night. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to live off $1,000 a week at that point.
No doubt. You create this standard of living for yourself.
But I will also say that during quarantine, that was a lot easier because myself, not gonna lie, I like to drink. It probably solved a lot of problems that I gained.
Yeah.
I like to drink, and I'll go out and spend $100 a night because I can.
Right.
But
you're just putting money back into the economy.
That's not even being cocky. It's just like I make that kind of money. If you're a pipe fitter and you're out there making $2,000 a week, you do the same damn thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Because I'm trained in that. I know what kind of money that is too.
Yeah.
So don't sit here and tell me I'm not making, not doing a real job. Because at the end of the day, if I'm not doing a real job, my job doesn't exist. You can't go out and do what you want to do. That's the fact of the matter.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Bartenders take a lot of beating mentally.
Yeah.
Sometimes physically.
Yeah. I was just thinking that when you said it, yeah.
Because trust me, I've worked in a lot of bars and I've taken a lot of beatings.
Yeah. I mean, it is wild how it's affecting, so many of my friends. Because, we met at a bar. Most people I meet at bars, man. Like,
right.
You're talking about spending $100 a night, dude. Like, when I was making no money, I did that. When I, making the money I'm making now, I do that. It's part of it's alcoholism. Part of it's because I fucking enjoy it, and I talk about it on probably every episode. It's probably repetitive at this point, but I love going downtown. I love people serving me drinks. I love the camaraderie.
But we love people like you, and we want to see that. you know, because it is. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, trust me, I miss being in a park bar, whether on one side or the other, and having everybody yelling. We're all shoulder to shoulder. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
But right now, it's not feasible.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not at all. You gotta be smart. And these anti-maskers, I'll give them shit, and they don't like it. That's their problem. But we're not doing it because we don't want to. Yeah, or I rephrase. We're not doing it because we want to. We're doing it because we have to.
Yeah.
And especially now, it's actually like the mandate in the state of Maine is if you walk into a public place,
we have to
you're
kick
not
you out.
wearing a mask. If you're not wearing one and you don't want to buy one, if we have them available, you got to go.
Yeah, they just came out like, what, 3 or 4 days ago?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
You know, and it's, if you don't like it, that's your problem.
Yeah.
We can call the police and give you a criminal trespass. We don't want to.
Right.
But that's what it is.
That is what it is.
You know, like we've been doing, how long we've been doing this since March.
Yep.
You know, like everybody has a mask. Like I have mine in my pocket. I don't have it around my neck right now, but I always have a mask around my neck because I know where it is and I can pull it up when I need to.
Yep.
You know, like you can literally go on Amazon and buy 7 of them for $20.
Right.
You know, you can do it. Like you're just not using your head and not doing it.
And that's one of the contributing factors to how we get back to normalcy is by slowing the spread and by wearing our fucking masks. It's a civic duty at this point.
Absolutely.
You know, and by not doing it,
you know,
you're spitting in people's faces. You're spitting in the face of economic growth. You're spitting in the face of you know, if you walk into your favorite bar and won't put a fucking mask on, you're spitting on your favorite bar's fucking bartender.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love my favorite bars. I love them.
Yeah.
You know, like one of my favorite bars, Amigos. I worked for them for 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
And the owner, Bruce, is one of my dearest friends. He hired me, fired me, and hired me back. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for that man.
Yeah.
And I know because he's going through some medical conditions right now and everything. And I'll tell you what, everybody's always said Amigos is a dive bar and dirty. And this. I've never seen Amigos so fucking clean. Ever in my life. And I worked there for 10 years. And it's not even like we didn't try to keep it clean. It's the dirty motherfuckers that go in there.
Yeah, it's the clientele for sure.
You know,
I had
sit down on the toilet. Don't piss all over it, please.
I had Mike Reynolds here the other day. Obviously, you know him, and he works over there. And you know, he said
he's my brother.
It's a shitty little dive bar, but it's something that we've been trying to crawl out from under since the 1980s because it has so much more than that to offer.
Exactly.
And it is the clientele. You know, because I've never. I hate to say it because I love the place, but I've never disrespected a bathroom so intensely in my life. You know, like you get hit in the back, you're sitting there taking a piss, you get hit in the back with the door, you fucking piss all over the place. Like,
well, I'll tell you the real story though. The worst part of Amigos of cleanup, because I've done it forever, a million times. The women's room.
Oh, dude.
And here's my theory on that. Because none of them want to sit their pretty little ass on a fucking toilet.
They all hover.
But I seen who you left with last night, and I know you didn't wrap it up, girl.
Oh my God.
Sit your ass on the toilet and piss, please, because I'm sick of fucking wiping it up off the floor.
That is so true.
It is. It's not wrong. I'm not wrong.
No, yeah, it's the stankiest place in that fucking building.
Yeah, seriously, though. I mean, dude, one year, I can't even remember. It was on my phone a while back, but it was a memory. And it was after, like, a St. Patty's Day, like, sweeping up the floor and cleaning up a bar floor, man. You find some weird shit. Some weird shit. It just all came to a collective. I just took a picture of it and posted it on my timeline because it was 2 a.m. and I just wanted to go home.
Yeah.
And I was like, you dirty motherfuckers. Like, dude, pick your shit up, throw it in the trash. Like, like, you're not 5.
Right.
You're grown-ass adults according to the law. And you can't even use a public restroom properly.
One of the things we were talking about is the amount of cocaine used in those bathrooms. And how, a year and a half ago, less than a year ago, whatever, it was completely acceptable to just like bust out a line on the back of a public toilet. And now with COVID, like, is that going to change the way we do cocaine in public places?
Well, I'll be completely candid. I am an active cocaine user, but I've changed my ways.
Yeah.
I don't say they're sanitary, but they're more sanitary than that.
You ever seen the movie Cruel Intentions?
Yes.
She carried it around already pre-cut up in her little cross, and it had a little sniffer built right into it. Yeah. I mean, desperate times, desperate measures.
I mean, it's once money gets rolling around. Yeah, cool. But nah, I mean, back in the day, I've cleaned. I'm not gonna say which bars, but I've cleaned bars at the end of the night, and literally could have a glove and clean the back of the toilet with just that.
Yeah, clean your fucking brain out with your fucking coke.
But
and whatever else is on there.
One of my favorite things at one bar I worked at is on a weeknight, you could only go into that one room. We had a second floor, and there was a bathroom on the second floor. One stall per men's and women's. And, sometimes I go outside to take a smoke, and I'd come back in, and there's 3 dudes coming down from that bathroom. And they don't...
It's only 2 things you're doing when there's that many dudes in a bathroom.
Well, here's my thing. I don't question anything about anybody's sexuality. You do your thing. I love you no matter what, and I take care of you, and I will protect you, and I'll support you. But I know toxic men when I see them. And when they're coming down that staircase, I can look at them and be like, guys, I'm not stupid. They're like, what? And I'm like, there's only 2 reasons 3 guys go into a one stall bathroom upstairs. Yeah. You're either blowing each other or you're blowing coke. And they never, ever want to admit to blowing coke.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no, I meant the other. No.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Yeah, but they always leave.
Yeah.
They know they've been caught. Either way. But, yeah. It was one night I was working, and one of my buddies I was working with, we were at the bottom of the staircase. We were just sitting there chatting, this and that, whatever, 'cause bouncers, we have to do our thing and keep each other entertained. We were talking to somebody that we all knew, and my buddy sees this dude coming down, and he's like, hold up. And he goes in and grabs him from the main room, and comes back out.
Oh, that was awful.
And
don't open that one.
He's like, hold up. Grabs the dude, comes back out. And he's like, the dude comes out, and it's just a fucking white train. Like, that dude didn't even look in the mirror when he was coming. Like, he just took the bag and went,
I'm good.
and just walked down the stairs. Yeah. Bounce to the airport. You'll see some weird shit.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Even not even being a bouncer, man. Just being like, an avid follower of going downtown. You see plenty of crazy shit.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta fucking pee, dude. Already.
Yeah, I'm in.
Ugh.
Yeah, I've been drinking for a while.
It's all sick.
Right.
Turn around. It's all dad.
It's all dad.
Oh, man. Squirt alert. So, what is one of the craziest things you've seen downtown in our beautiful little port city?
God damn. I've seen a lot of shit. I don't even know the date, but
If you knew the date, that would be weird.
yeah, but it actually would be weird. But no, I mean, before I worked at Amigos, I worked for a company called TaylorMade Event Services. Shout out Tim Smith. I love you. You're my brother.
Tanner?
No, Tim Smith.
Oh, Tim Smith. Okay.
Tim Smith. Tim Smith, you're my brother. I love you. So with that job, I did a lot of event security, doing bars, but mostly like concert security, like work at the Civic Center a bunch, like work like the Nativa Festival.
Yep.
You know, like shit like that. But we had a contract with the stadium when it was just the stadium.
Oh, hell yeah.
And eventually with Bingham Stadium when it became that thing. But we worked there for a long time, and that was probably my second bar gig with them. We worked one bar when I first started with them up in Lewiston called the Blue Elephant, and we actually got hired there a week after some dude was like outside like blowing rounds off.
Love that.
And then we got hired. That was a fun gig because I've seen that bar get cleared out. In the 2 months I worked there, I saw that place get cleared out a few times. But no, I worked at the stadium for a long time. The first night I worked there, there was, it was ladies' night, Wednesday night, $5 pitchers, and it was like, it wasn't even like
kind of towards you if you can.
Right on.
Perfect.
And it wasn't even like pitchers. It was they had these huge Miller Lite bottle pitchers.
Oh hell yeah!
That they fill up for $5, way more than a pitcher.
I'm a fan.
Shit would pop up.
I'm a
there.
fan of a pitcher, as
right,
you know.
I know. But no, we had those things, and it was like, they probably said it measured out to a pitcher. It was definitely 2 pitchers, but it was $5 for Miller Lite.
Yeah,
so,
fuck it, all over it.
Yeah, fuck it, drink it. But it was the end of the night, my first night, and like, there's shit all over the floor, like liquid, who knows, booze. And I see this one big girl in high heels, and she's losing it, and she falls flat on her back. And this one dude walks past me and goes, "That's a big bitch." She was like a huge thud when she left. That was my first night at the stadium. But no, I probably one of the craziest things I ever saw. Because every once in a while on ladies' night at the stadium, it would just turn into a free-for-all on Free Street. And it was just fights everywhere. So one night, there's this guy and this girl, boyfriend, girlfriend, they're arguing. And it's getting heated. So, 5 of us are like, well, but Portland PD rolls up. All right, they'll fucking handle it. So the officer was walking up, and he's getting this dude's getting ready to knock this girl. Oof. It was not getting good. Oof. And the officer taps the dude on the shoulder. The dude turns around and knocks the cop completely in the face. Busts his nose wide open.
Oh no!
Completely busts that dude's nose.
That's the worst way to start it.
That cop turned around, didn't skip a beat, spit blood out, grabbed his retractable, and beat the shit out of that dude. And he ended up getting his face bounced off every brick on Brown Street to Congress Street. And then his buddy...
For anyone that doesn't know, that's about 1,000 paces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So later on, his buddy decided to get in another cop's face, and I can't remember exactly what he did, but that was the first time I saw somebody tased.
Oh, no shit.
It was, not gonna lie.
You ever been
pretty
tased?
awesome. No.
It's not that bad.
I mean, I've had people with like a taser, like.
No, I'm talking like straight up 2 prongs.
Yeah, I haven't been.
Dude, everyone says like, oh, being tased is the worst, and I'm sure like because cops go through training and they have to get tased as like part of like the end of the training or whatever, and I'm sure like anticipating it's probably a lot worse. But when you're just like running down the street and you get 2 prongs in the butt, it's honestly not that bad. Your brain goes into trauma mode. You don't even remember what it feels like. You just like hit the ground and wake up.
I guess that's the one thing I don't know about you.
Oh, dude. There are plenty of stories, but tonight's about you.
That was the first time I saw someone tased.
Yeah.
The second time I saw someone tased, I was working construction a couple years ago down in Easton, Pennsylvania. And for anybody who doesn't know, Easton, Pennsylvania is awesome. I love Pennsylvania.
Yeah, me too.
Personally.
The champ, dude.
But Easton is a lot like Portland for the nightlife scene.
Yeah, for sure.
And
the bars don't close till fucking
2.
Yeah.
It's 2 over there. But I've had chats with like the guys from Wisdom and Chains and everything. They live in Stroudsburg, like 20 miles north. But I mean, they advocate for it too. But it's a fucking cool scene, man. You're like, I was there for a week. I went in town just because,
You ever been to Tattooed Moms?
No.
No, dude, super cool scene bar out there.
But if I found this spot, because me, being me, I'm looking for the first PBR sign in a window, pool tables, even though I don't give a fuck about pool. But like, I walked into this bar. It's called Mother's.
Yep.
And being a hardcore guy, I'm standing at the bar ordering my PBR and my doctors because that's what I drink. And I see a kid across the bar wearing a Bury Your Dead hoodie.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, that's my dude right there. Ended up, talking to him, having a good time. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, hey, love you, Bury Your Dead. He's like, oh, shit, you like hardcore, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And, made friends immediately. Met a bunch of death metal kids, like all this shit. Obviously, being a party guy, got to party that night and whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm still friends with these guys to this day. But that bar is called Mother's. So it was my amigos away from home. And it was great. Like, I had one night I get fucking hammered. And like, I've been working 6 days, whatever. And, had like 4 or 5 drinks and like started nodding off the bar. And it's like, these people got me in an Uber, got me back to my hotel.
No shit.
Good people.
Yeah.
Great people. And I have nothing, Danny Grove, I love you. I think you're the best. And Nick and everybody, like you guys, all you guys, mad cool. Always consider you family. Anytime you want to come to Maine, you're here. But, yeah, it was a good time to be out there.
Yeah. Yeah, Pennsylvania and New Jersey are probably my 2. If I'm not going to be in Portland, but I'm going to be like, in the Northeast, like that's where I want to be.
Right.
Boston's cool. New York's cool. New York is super spread out. Boston is, I love Boston, but it's so easy. Like you were saying, like you're nodding out at a bar and some dudes took care of you.
Right.
If that happened in Boston, dude, you'd wind up on the sidewalk with fucking, Sharpie dicks on your face.
Right.
Which is fine. That's also hilarious. I'm also into that. But, the PA is definitely...
Well, the other thing I was trying to get at with PA is, so my last night working in Pennsylvania, I was done, but it was my last night there. So I went out, got hammered, whatever. Well, I'm sitting at the bar, and like all those dudes that I had met and everything, none of them were out there. Mm-hmm. But I ended up meeting this other guy, and he was wearing a Rotting Out shirt. So I'm like, make contact.
Here we go again. Dude.
Yeah. And he's like, HR from Bad Brains was playing. There was a club next door. That was a music club. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, HR was playing next door tonight, but he was doing all his reggae stuff.
Oh, no shit.
And I'm like, fuck, if I'd known that, I would have gone.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, that's my shit. You know, he and I got into talking this and that, whatever, and, like, he ended up leaving. And, like, I'm going outside waiting for my Uber to go back to the hotel. And, like, just being a bouncer, my eyes are always open. So I'm looking at that back door at the club, and I see something going on. And I keep looking back, and I keep seeing something going on. And the next thing I know, the whole fucking club just comes out into the square, just beating the shit out of each other.
Oh, no.
I'm standing there laughing. I'm like, holy shit. This is like being like back home, back in the day.
Yeah.
You know? And the cops just happened to be right around the corner. And so they all converge on the place, and these dudes are I see one dude go and try to punch a cop and just get fucking right in the chest. Fucking I'm laughing my ass off. The dude standing next to me waiting for his Uber, too. He's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, this is like being back home. Like people, I don't know. Sometimes people try to play Portland off as being weak, this and that. I've seen some shit in Portland.
Yeah, Portland's a motherfucker, dude. Like,
it is. I mean, trust me, we ain't Boston.
No.
But Portland holds their own.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing about Portland I love the most, I think when it comes to like hardcore music or like big fights inside or outside of venues, is like the only time there's a big fight is when another state like rallies up. Like if you've got, if you're at like Port City with 300 kids from Portland and then also like 300 kids from, FSU Boston era,
Yeah.
like the big fucking cool fights go off when like that shit's happening. Because Portland doesn't like nobody in Portland really fights anyone from Portland. But if you if you're not from Portland and you try to fight one dude from Portland and whether he could be the most hated dude in the scene, and if you're from out of state and you try to fuck with him, like you fucked with the entire scene. Like that's one of my favorite parts.
Well, here's my point on that. I am a very huge advocate of FSU nationwide.
Good.
Some very good friends of mine are involved in that. I won't lie. But my first installment with them was years ago.
Yeah.
Old Town Maine, where I grew up, outside of
Bangor.
Orono,
yeah.
that whole area. We had a club when I was growing up, and I've been in the hardcore scene for 25 years. It's the most important thing to me in the world. And I was lucky enough to grow up in a town where we had a club, where we had punk and hardcore shows every week. And because it was three different, it started as the Penny Post, and then it fizzled out for a while, and then it was Heavies, which is where I got involved, and then it was the Sound House, which my good friend Ed Porter, he was the leader, the head of that. But I mean, my first hardcore show was in 1995, I think.
I was 4 in 95.
Sam Black Church and Tree. Like,
hell yes.
So like my mom always said that this was the fucking phase. And I came out to her years ago. I'm like, Mom, I think we're pretty much past the phase point. Like, this is literally my life. I love this more than anything. And I had to lie to her, tell her I was staying at my friend's house, which I did. But
after the show,
she thought we were just going over to watch, like Headbangers Ball reruns, which we did. But then we went to a show,
right?
And it was awesome. It was great. Music has been a huge thing to me my entire life. When I was 5, I think it was 5, might have been 4, my uncle gave me this little red cassette player. And when he gave it to me, it was Michael Jackson's Thriller in the tape. And I listened to that fucking tape until it snapped. Until the actual tape snapped.
Yeah.
I was 4 or 5 years old. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what he would turn out to be. You know? But it was great. And I still consider that album one of the greatest albums of all time. And from there, it escalated into mostly like heavy metal. But, I mean, I think my next tape was like Quiet Riot. But
Yeah, I love Quiet Riot.
Christmas of 87.
How old were you?
I just turned 42 last weekend.
No, thank you. Oh yeah, happy belated, by the way.
No worries.
I'm one of the few that didn't post on your timeline.
Nah,
but how were you How old were you rather Christmas
Oh,
'87?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't do math well. I do math well, but I'm not doing it right now.
Fair enough.
But I was in 3rd grade.
Okay.
And for Christmas, my grandmother got me Appetite for Destruction.
Oh,
from
hell
Guns
yeah.
N' Roses.
Yeah.
The hottest album at the time. And, you know, like, at that point, we had heard, you know, like, Welcome to the Jungle and Sweet Child of Mine.
Right.
So my mom's all about it. We put the tape in. We got to It's So Easy, the second track on the tape. And my mom presses stop while she's cooking Christmas dinner. And she's like, what the fuck did your grandmother buy you?
Oh, my God.
I was hooked instantly.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses is the band that made me want to see live music.
No shit.
Like, I was completely hooked at that point. And, like, it just escalated, you know, like Motley Crue and this and that, whatever. And by the time I got to middle school, I heard Faith No More.
Faith No More.
But didn't realize what they were at the time, I guess. But throughout, you know, I discovered, you know, like Megadeth and like Metallica and this and that. And disclaimer, I don't give a fuck about Metallica. Megadeth all the way. But yeah, I got big into that. And as I was getting into 8th grade, I started getting more into hip hop. I mean, NWA, Dr. Dre was a big thing
MLP.
at the time. Like, yeah, all that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, MLP in the 90s. But, and hip hop is always going to be a thing for me. I love hip hop. But as I got into 8th grade, I started discovering, you know, like Megadeth and like Alice in Chains and Pantera was a big thing.
Sure.
And then after that was my freshman year.
Okay.
And one of my best friends, and I'm actually going to say this because I do have to mention it. So one of my best friends in high school, his name was Randy Ewer. Shout out, Randy. And another shout out. Sorry to hear about your dad. He just passed this week. Good guy. Great guy.
R.I.P. Randy's dad.
But he was very important in the early stages because he's the person whose house I went to go to see my first show.
Okay.
But we were always through middle school and high school. We were always cool. But I lived where I lived. Like we went to Old Town and everything, but I lived in the outskirts of Old Town, like in Elton, in the fucking boonies.
Yep.
And we had a college radio station in Orono. I can't remember the call letters. But he gave me a tape one day. He's like, you got to listen to this. And it was a college radio show in Orono. And it only broadcast from like 2 to 4 a.m. And he would tape it and give it to me. And I heard Sick of It All, Just Look Around.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite hardcore song ever. You know, like and it just turned me a different way. And like, you know, like this show is playing like that, and they're playing like Chaos AD, like Sepultura era. You know, I heard like Territory and Refuse Resist. And I was like, fuck. And like playing like Agnostic Front and like Life of Agony, which is one of my top 5 favorite bands ever.
Yep.
Like that first album, especially. You know, and which at that time I never knew any of this would be like that.
Yeah.
But he would give me these tapes weekly. He's like, he would go and tape it just so I could hear it. He was listening to it real time, but he would tape it so I could hear it. Come to find out years later, because this radio show had a name and it was called Molten Metal Massacre.
Hell yeah.
And it was with these 2 guys, Ryan and Ian. Years later, I would find out that Ian was Ian from Reach the Sky, which is one of my favorite hardcore bands.
Yeah.
You know, like from Boston especially. Like, but I mean, it not even just hardcore, but like, you know, emo, whatever. Like they I don't, if anybody's seen Reach the Sky, they understand. And I actually had this conversation with you. I was like, dude, I used to listen to your college radio show, and you are the reason I'm into hardcore. And he's like, holy fuck, dude. He's like, I didn't think anybody listened to that show. I'm like, no. I'm like, I did. You know, because he used to also play in a band called Reason Enough. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time I had met him. And then, like, after that show, my buddy Chris, who worked the door at Soundhouse, he's like, he's the guy who used to do Molten Metal Massacre. I'm like, shut the fuck, you didn't tell me this before? Like, I would have fanboyed over this fucking ever. I was fucking 18. You know, like,
yeah.
It was great, you know, and like that's cool to have that connection with a band that I actually really love and respect, and knowing that they helped me get into this thing that I love more than anything. You know, like I said, like my mom always said it was a phase, and it's not a phase. I've been doing this since 1995. Like, I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world. You know, tomorrow will be a year since I've seen live music,
Which is a big part of why we scheduled this.
Yeah,
today.
Huge.
Yeah.
You know, but it was also awesome because I got to see the original Misfits with Glenn Danzig.
That is awesome.
Jerry Only, Doyle, and Dave Lombardo on drums. And I saw them with the Dropkick Murphys, which I love and respect, but I don't necessarily connect with what they're doing now. But Agnostic Front opened, which is the only time Agnostic Front has opened for the Misfits.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No shit.
So it was a huge thing for them.
Yeah.
You know, and Agnostic Front is one of my favorite bands ever. I love them. I respect them so much. I mean,
where was the show?
It was at the Wells Fargo Center in Philly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the sold out show. We actually, me and my boy were, my dude, that was my birthday present last year. And he spent too much money that I still will pay back to him somehow. But our seats, so the way it was set up was like there was a pit area, but there was seating. So we got seats, but we were in the front row of the seats, right behind the pit.
Yeah.
And the security guard saw us like on the barrier, like singing along during AF and everything. And they're just like, you guys need to be out there. Just threw some bracelets on us.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was fucking great, dude.
That's really
He's
cool.
like, wait for my boss to go away. I'll throw bracelets on you guys any day. Like, it was wicked cool.
That is cool.
And we had a good time. Got to get right up front. I mean, dude, I watched Jerry Only smash 6 bases and just throw them out in the crowd.
Oof. That's so much
I
fun.
saw Danzig's whale tongue under his fishnet fucking shirt. You know, like it was. Because I've always said I would never ever see the Misfits unless Danzig is on vocals, and I finally got to hold true to that. It was a big day for me.
Yeah.
And we had a good time in Philly. Like, met up with my friend Krista, and Went to pub on Passaic. We get there, and I didn't even realize it until we were leaving after we cashed out. But the table tents all had like signature cocktails, but they were all named after Slayer songs.
Oh, really?
I can't even remember. I have a picture of it somewhere on my phone, but it was cool.
That's really cool.
And like, I knew I was in a right because there was like an Oxbow like placard, on the wall, and like Bissell stickers in the bathrooms.
Hell yeah!
Like I was like, oh, I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah.
The food was great. The people were great.
What was this place?
Pablo Scenic. I can't. They call it something else, and I can't remember what the fuck it's called. But yeah, it's on Passaic Street.
No shit.
In Philly, it's a dope bar. Great food, great beers, great draft selection. Like I'm clearly into craft beer and whatever. So, but yeah, it was a cool spot.
No doubt.
But yeah, the day we went down there, it was because like I don't know if anybody knows anything about Philly, but like all the sports stadiums are like literally right next to each other.
Yeah.
And so when we got there earlier in the day, we were just going down, just kind of scope everything out. And it was the day of the Army Navy game at the the Eagles stadium, and Trump was there, so Homeland Security was everywhere. Like you couldn't go anywhere without seeing a cop or like Homeland Security agents or this, that, whatever. Yeah. So it was weird because we got there early because I needed to get my show poster. It's a big thing for me, I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's worth 30 years or something like that.
I got these assholes tattooed on my fucking arm.
Yeah.
Like I love horror. I love punk.
I definitely love me a horror film. Do you like any of the Rob Zombie stuff?
I love the trilogy.
Yeah, of course.
He did well on that. 3 from Hell was a little weak, but it wasn't terrible, I don't think.
Yeah.
It was still in Rob Zombie fashion. The Mexican standoff thing could have gone away, but here we are. I just recently watched Lords of Salem.
It wasn't my favorite.
It wasn't my favorite, and you could tell there was no budget on it.
Yeah.
But the concept behind it I thought was cool. Like, if some black metal song actually, some black metal band actually covered that song, I think it would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because it's really creepy as fuck. But, I mean, it was obviously a takeoff on WAAF.
Of course, yeah.
Like, there was no way around that.
I think my favorite from the trilogy, I know my favorite from the trilogy was Devil's Rejects.
No, Devil's Rejects. Every time I hear any song from that soundtrack,
yeah,
it's as soon as I hear dun 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 dun,
yeah,
it's like fuck, But it's also like even in House of a Thousand Corpses,
that was a dope movie for sure.
I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, for sure.
But for his introduction to what he was doing, he nailed it.
Oh yeah, as a freshman film,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And
if you actually watch that movie with commentary, like you learn a lot about the movie. And one of the biggest things I learned about that movie was like when they were killing the sheriff.
Yep.
They had to shoot that scene. I can't remember how many. It was a lot of times because where they were on the location on the Universal lot was right next to one of their big fucking rides. So every time they'd go to shoot it, the ride would come around and everybody was screaming.
Oh, and you catch it on the mic.
So they had to shoot that so many times to get it right.
That's crazy.
Which is probably also the answer for all the angles.
Yeah. During that part. Yeah. Oh my God, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Rip Sid Haig.
Yeah, absolutely. He was, dude. Wasn't he in? No, I was thinking of My Cousin Vinny, but that was the dude from Pet Sematary.
Yeah, yeah.
But on that note, fuck the new Pet Sematary. I will not watch it.
I watched it. I didn't love it.
I won't watch it because I remember when that movie was filmed here in Maine.
Yeah.
There's actually, if you dive on Amazon Prime, there's a documentary about the filming of that in Maine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really
I can't
cool.
remember the name of it. I'll shoot you when I find it, I'll shoot you a text message.
Yeah. Send that along.
But it's awesome. Like, I remember, like, because back then, this is like the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
And watching that movie, I can picture every single scene from so many different aspects, but it was like daily updates in the newspaper. It was that big of a thing in Bangor, you know, and like you see it like right before the truck hits Gage, he's coming up over the hill, and you see the mill in the background. That's the Bucksport mill.
Yeah.
And like when they're at the funeral, like that's Mount Hope Cemetery.
Yeah.
Like I know that, and like the quarry and everything where they're like burying. Like, I know that quarry.
I want to try and get Stephen King on here sometime.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. I've been like Googling like how do you fucking, inquire for work for Stephen King, and it's just like impossible.
Just go on his Twitter.
I'm just gonna go to his house.
Knock on his door.
One of the two.
Go to the Bangor YMCA. That's where I met him.
Bangor Y. I met him I used to work at Roe Lincoln in Westbrook.
Yeah.
And I used to run the internet department there. And there was this inquiry one day for somebody looking for a Lincoln, obviously. And so, my team responded to it, blah, blah, blah. And this guy was like, yeah, I work for an estate. The car will go in the estate's name, all this shit. And we're like, yeah, that's fine. And he's like, I want to get as much done online over the phone as I can. I'm like, yeah, that's also fine. This is fucking the 21st century, dude. Like, you don't even have to come here. We'll mail you the car.
Right.
And he's like, well, it's for a local celebrity. Like, he wants to come down to test drive it, but, like, he certainly wants to buy all this shit. And we're like, okay, local celebrity. Like, is it fucking Bob Marley? Like, what the fuck?
Is he actually a local celebrity, though?
Yeah, come on, man. Bob, of course he is.
I mean, I love Bob Marley. Don't
Yeah. And then, like, finally he was like, okay, it's Stephen King. And I would, like, I know, like, what they were trying to do was keep people from, like, being there and, like, fanboying and all this shit. But the second they said that, I was like, like, I just geeked out.
Yeah.
And he brought the Hellhound, and, like, he brought his Tesla down. And
of course he did.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, that's a really
Show
cool.
your cock, bro.
Yeah, I was like, and he brought his guy that handles all of his shit. And the guy even signed all of his paperwork for him. So I don't know if it was like the manager of the estate or whatever. I don't even know if I should even say this story. Whatever. But he comes down in his Tesla, and I was like, dude, that's a cool car. I've not seen one of those in person yet. And this was a couple, this is 6-ish, 7 years back. And he literally just like threw me the keys, threw up the horns, and walked into the building. And I was like, well, for one, I need to talk to him because this is important business. But did he just tell me I could drive his car? So like, I go back inside, and I'm like, hey, Mr. King, I have the car that you're interested in pulled up ready for you. If you want to take it for a spin, make sure you love it. We'll finish the paperwork after the fact. You don't have to come into the building until then. And he was like, oh, are you the guy that I've been talking to online? I was like, yeah, that's me. And he goes, this is my pet boy, whatever the fuck his name was. So he takes off in the car, and I'm like sitting there with the keys to this Tesla, and it's this fucking like laptop. And the guy's like talking to me, whatever. He's trying to be cordial, like have a conversation with me, but I don't know what to say because I'm shell shocked.
Right.
Because Stephen King just threw the fucking horns at me in Westbrook, Maine, bro. Like on Main Street.
I feel like if Ozzy did that in fucking Ellsworth.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And he's like, oh, did he give you the keys? I was like, yeah. He's like, are you gonna drive it? And I was like, you know what I mean? Like I was like, I don't know. And he's like, no, take it for a spin. And he's like, he lets anyone he likes, he lets drive it because it's a new car. And I was like, Stephen King likes me? And he's like, you've made this whole thing super easy. He's like, just take it for a spin. So I literally like banged around the Westbrook Arterial real quick. When I say real quick, I mean fucking fast.
Nice.
Because it was the all-wheel drive.
I mean, the fucking cop's gonna give him a fucking ticket.
Right. It didn't even have a plate on it. no plates, front or back. So I got back to the dealership, whatever. He still wasn't back. Came back. He wanted to buy in the car. It was super cool. Had I known that I was going to be so enveloped in live media, whether it be live shows or productions or books or a podcast, I probably would have tried a little harder to be his friend.
Right.
But that is my one I met Stephen King story.
Do you want to hear my Stephen King meeting story?
Yeah.
And you can edit this out if you have to. I don't care. But so my first job ever was the Bangor YMCA. My dad was facilities manager there. I was a janitor, essentially. And shout out to my dad because he's the best. And so Steve King. So at the Bangor YMCA, you had your regular locker rooms, you had your silver locker room, and the gold locker room. And this was back in 94, I think. Yeah, because it was now it's I think it's a processing station for the police. I don't fucking know. But it's not the YMCA anymore.
Gotcha.
But and this was after the renovation where we had the platinum locker room, which was the elite. You had to have a card to slide in, this and that, whatever. So, my job throughout the day was clean all the locker rooms, this and that, bathrooms, whatever. And in the platinum locker room or whatever it was, for members only, they had a hot tub and a sauna and all that
cool.
shit. Yeah, it was cool. And being an employee, I could access all that.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, because I'm a fat kid. Clearly, I didn't. But one of my things was also cleaning the hot tub. So one day, I'm cleaning the showers, and I find a watch, and I look at it, it's a fucking Rolex.
Hell yeah.
With the UMaine logo on it.
Oh, cool.
And I'm like, holy shit, this is a big deal. And I'm walking around, and I go into the locker room. Yeah, as soon as I saw it and I saw who was standing there, I know who this is. And I'm like, Mr. King, is this your watch? He's standing there butt naked.
Oh, no.
He's like, oh, thank you. I give it back to him. He's like, oh, I can't thank you enough. He's like, I would have left that right there. I'm like, you're welcome.
I have to ask.
I've seen Steve King naked.
But did you see his dick?
I was in high school. I wasn't really paying attention.
All right. Well, if you were 40, would you have looked at his dick?
Probably not.
Oh, man. I would have looked at his dick. I don't even care. Steve King dick, bro.
But one of my claim to fame, I saw Steve King naked.
That is really cool. I feel like you probably couldn't see his dick. I feel like he would have this ever-encompassing gray cloud that followed him around like a belt.
Bro, he's 100.
That's true. He is getting up there.
He's up there. This is also before he got hit by the car.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Huh. Which I can't even remember. What town was that in? It was it was Brooklyn or something like that.
No.
No, really? Brooklyn, Maine.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I thought it was Old Town.
No, it wasn't Old Town.
I'm not going to Google it right now, but
no. Yeah, it definitely was. Trust me, I'd know if it was an Old Town.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If you know anything about Old Town, as soon as something happens in Old Town, you know about it 5 seconds before the news does.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up.
Did you live up there in Down East Maine when they still had Good News Friday, or when they had it?
I mean, we didn't have that in Old Town.
Because I remember I lived in
because Old Town's more central Maine.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm confusing my time in Down East with my time in Bangor. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. No. I mean, one night, the town I grew up in is a lot different from the town that it is now.
Yeah, for sure.
When I grew up, the mill was still prosper. People were making money. It was bars and banks and restaurants, and it was a cool place.
Yeah, it's mostly projects now.
It's late, straight up projects.
Yeah.
I'm always hearing about homicides or it's like Lewiston
drugs,
now.
a lot of drugs.
It's literally like Lewiston now.
Yeah. If
And
Bangor wasn't
it's
as
sad
Lewiston
'cause
as it was, then
it's
Old Town would be Bangor's Lewiston.
it's so sad because when I grew up there, it was such a fucking great town.
Yeah.
Like people were proud there when I grew up there. Like when I graduated in '97, like it was a proud place.
Yeah.
You know, people were making money and everything was cool. And then in the next 10 years, you watched it slowly decline. And then in the last I don't even know, 10 years, it's just been bad. When I go back home, I don't even recognize that place. I had to go back home for a funeral in October of last year. And I didn't even recognize the place. You know, but it's not the same. And it sucks because I love so many people from back there. And I love seeing them, but I won't go back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go back to visit my parents. I haven't seen my parents in a year because of obviously COVID.
Right.
But you know, I would have seen them sooner if it wasn't for COVID. But I mean, I work in 2 bars. You know, I'm around people all the time. I'm not going to expose them. They're in their 60s.
Yeah.
You know, it's a thing, and it sucks. But it also sucks, like, not being able to go back to your hometown and recognize it.
No doubt.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, last time I went to... So I'm from Sarasota, Florida. Last time I went there was like 2 years ago. And when I was like growing up there, you know, my grandparents were really well off. And so it was like gated communities and golf courses. And now it's like literally where there was a golf course, there's a fucking mall.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do away with so much land?
Right.
And I know what you're saying is different. Like Old Town went to, you know, Old Town went to shit. But, you know, you start to industrialize areas and you start to bring in, you know, a more diverse culture. And diversity is not always the best thing when you have something that's, you know, you take a well-polished gem and you drop it in the middle of a, you know, pile of dirt. Like eventually the gem's going to sink, you know,
Yeah,
the dirt.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, like, I don't know. I just don't really have a whole lot to say on top of it. Is just the fact that it was such a great place to grow up. Like, you know, like a lot of people like me and people I associate with and this and that, whatever, like, you know, like, we all come from some hard times.
Yeah.
I especially did, you know, like, I mean, my family's always been pretty hard off. We've always, you know, found a way to come up. But with a lot of people in that town, too, it was the same story, you know, and, like, you know, we always had to compete against, you know, like, the mill employees,
Yep.
you know, always doing great. Like, that money is good.
Yeah.
You know, it's stupid money. You know, like, if you get into the trades and you know what you're doing, the money's there. But, you know, we're also coming up in a shit-ass town in the middle of fucking nowhere. So if you don't know how to do that, then you have to do whatever you have to do. I grew up around my grandparents, who I love dearly, miss them dearly. But I grew up in a junkyard.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't understand, because I grew up in that junkyard, I couldn't tell you how to fix a car to save my life. I ruined a lot of cars. But my grandfather was a huge inspiration to me and gave me a lot of my work ethic, because that's all I do is work. But it's all I know how to do. And, you know, I was fucking 10 years old, you know, doing what he wanted me to do around the junkyard, you know, take a part off this car, or, you know, clean up. The first time I cleaned up a pin on a plow blade, I didn't set it right, and I fucking smashed my finger. My finger was black for like 2 months.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
You know, learn how to do that. But it instills a sense of pride in you still.
Absolutely.
And growing up in a town like that, you know, it does. I didn't do so well while I lived there. I'll tell you that. But it did instill a sense of pride in me for when I moved down here. I've lived down here for 17 years now. I love it. This is my home. Like, you know, I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, but this is my home now. But I love it here.
Portland has a way of doing that, man. Like
it does.
I'm from all over the country, you know. I was, transient for a lot of years. I was homeless for a lot of years. I traveled the country for a lot of years, chasing a lot of different dreams, did a lot of different things. I toured a lot, played a lot of music all over the place.
Yeah.
And, part of why I really put roots in the ground was that, I met Crystal and had kids. But, even before that, it was just like you're just walking around Portland. You're like, why do I need to go anywhere to experience anything else?
Yeah.
It's fucking here.
Well, it's like I was telling my friend Judy the other day.
I know Judy.
Yeah, she just moved back from Colorado.
Yeah,
she lived in the Virgin Islands for a while. She just did Colorado for like a year and a half, and she's one of my best friends. I mean, I met her like I got divorced 3 years ago now, I think, and I met her just before that. We worked at Vigo's together, and thought she hated me. But we ended up becoming best friends out of all of this. And that girl has helped me through some shit. But I was just actually telling her...
That one?
That is the Jude,
That's
dude.
Judy. And that... this is... Oh, Samuels. Okay.
Yeah, that's
You're
Samuels.
at Samuels with Judy. Yeah.
But, I was just telling her, like, because when she moved out, like, when she moved to Colorado, I was pretty bummed.
Yeah.
It's like, homie, I just fucking met you. But I get it, It's hard for you to sit still in a spot. I get it.
Yeah.
And, she went out there, she tried it, and then fucking COVID happened, fucked everything up. But she moved back, and she's actually, at first, I knew she was a little sad about it, but afterwards, I knew she was actually pretty stoked to come back. And I was talking to her. We went out to breakfast the other day. And
Where'd you go?
QC Diner.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's actually one of her first jobs ever. So we were going out there, and we were talking about the whole thing, this and that, whatever. And I'm like, when I lived in Bangor, I see a lot of people who, like, move away, and they come back, and they're just miserable. But when living in Portland, like, people move away, and they come back, but they're not that upset about it. Because they're like, Portland's actually a pretty cool fucking town.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the snow, it would be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's so much fun to be had around here. Even during COVID times, like, you can still have fun in Portland.
Yeah.
Like, people are doing whatever they can and doing it the right way to make it so people can actually live and have fun.
Yeah. Before we get too far away from Judy, I reached out. Judy Labonte, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I reached out to a couple of your friends and let them know that you were going to be on the podcast. And Judy had a message that I'd like to read to you.
Oh, God.
She said, all right, cunt muffin.
Sounds about right.
I want to say, going through life wearing a mask, playing a role you think you've been casted into, must suck. I wouldn't know, though, because I've had a friend that invites people to be themselves. With you, I get to be Jude, and that's fucking beautiful. Also, teach the interviewer some manners. And so,
I love you, Judy.
P.S. Stop self-sabotaging yourself. Love yourself as much as I do, because you're the shit. P.P.S. Will I ever shut up? I'm on mushrooms.
I talked to her when she was doing that, too. Okay, first of all, I'll never stop self-sabotage. That's just who I am.
Maybe.
Secondly, where's my mushrooms?
Bro, I've never done any illicit drugs on this podcast. I mean, we're only several episodes in, but I'm not opposed to it.
There's still time.
Psychedelics are definitely not my jam. I don't really smoke weed either. Weed's not my thing.
See, for me, hold on. For me, weed is a thing. I couldn't do it for many, many years. like 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 42 now.
Right.
But from when I was 17, I couldn't. It just, I could take one hit and hide under the blanket and wonder why the TV hated me. You know, like it was like that type of paranoia.
Yeah.
But then I started smoking a little over a year ago. And I think it was mostly because at that point my cocaine use was pretty high. Mm-hmm. And I knew I had to sleep. I knew weed would put me to sleep.
It's the opposite with me. So I smoked weed like aggressively from the time I was like 12 until I was like 18 or 19.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, 12 is too young for anyone to be doing any sort of drug. But when I was 12, like, you know, the whole like joke about like pot makes you laughy. Like, yeah. I would laugh to the point of, like, physical exhaustion. And then, you know, once I got, you know, that's obviously a lack of tolerance. But, you know, I got older, and it's just kept me chill. And I would intentionally buy, like, dirt weed so that I could just, like... I also smoked a ton. I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day at this time.
Right.
So I'd buy, like, dirt weed because I just liked smoking. And if, you know, you buy really good weed, you smoke half a joint, and you're fucked. I wanted to keep smoking it, so I'd buy shitty weed, and I'd smoke fucking weed all day long. I had a glass Chillum that I always had with me, you know what I mean? And then one day, I had a fucking panic attack. I was like, I got really high, and I was like, I'm really hungry, so I ate a ton of food, and then my stomach started to hurt, and so I started to get super paranoid, and I was like, oh, okay, my stomach hurts because I ate so much that my spleen split. You know, just like stupid shit. And it stopped being. I just like stopped smoking it, and now like I've tried to smoke weed. I've tried edibles. I've tried fucking anything that any weed enthusiast would encourage you to try to get back into it, and I just can't. But the funny part is, you talk about coke. You know, once if I've done any amount of coke, nothing's off the table. You know,
right.
And I definitely don't like do coke and then smoke weed to like bring myself back down.
Right.
But I'll do coke and then smoke weed. Because when I'm doing coke, I can do anything.
Well, I had to do it last night, so.
Yeah. I'll do coke and have 35 beers, you know, or I'll do coke and smoke a fucking ounce of weed. Like, you know,
I knew
it makes you invincible. Yeah, it makes you invincible, dude.
But
like,
one thing I will always be open and on the table about is my drug use.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't. It's like Keith Richards said. Any reports you've heard about my sobriety are completely unsubstantiated.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I drink. I did stop doing cocaine for a while. I just lost a very, very good friend of mine to something related to that.
Sure.
I try not to do it as much anymore.
Is that anyone that I know?
It's my boy Jason Scott.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
He played for a band called Low Life for a few years.
Yep.
And, yeah, that was just a bad batch.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not even the first, you know, like the when I had to go back home, that was the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's knowing your people and testing your shit. I'm not ever gonna tell anybody to not do anything, because if you don't experience life,
then what the fuck are you doing?
Then what the fuck are you here for?
Yeah.
Okay, I get that, and it sucks, you know, and it sucks losing your friends.
It does, dude.
Like, especially like people you talk to every single fucking day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't stop anybody from making their own decisions.
Yeah.
The only thing I can do is help them make it a better decision.
For sure. And, you know, I have, you know, plenty of friends that are recreational drug users. I have plenty of friends that are drug addicts, and they're my friends either way. You know, and I'm recreational now. I don't know. I'm probably the only drug addict I know that I've ever known that has gone to a rehab more than once, been a total drug addict, and now can recreationally use drugs. I don't know what clicked in my brain.
There are people like that.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like, yes, I might use frequently, But I've always been one of those people who knows if it's a problem, it's time to walk away.
Yeah. So like for me, like I didn't know that I had a problem until I was told I had a problem, the fucking doctors told me I had a problem. It was the first time I overdosed, and they were like, "How long have you been using drugs?" I was like, 5 years. And they're like, "How many times a day?" Or they were like, "How many times a week?" And I was like, "All of them."
Right.
And I overdosed, and thankfully I was around someone that cared enough about me to call an ambulance, and now
I've actually watched somebody I was dating overdose, and like a little over a year ago, and it was a fucking scary situation.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people that I've put through that shit. I've also had alcohol poisoning, probably fucking 20 times in my life. I've been hospitalized over alcohol use.
Yeah, the thing when I witnessed it, it wasn't even like coke. It was fucking DMT, bro.
Really? I didn't even know you could overdose on that.
Oh yeah, dude.
I should educate myself, I guess.
I'm not gonna go into specifics, but it was fucking scary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talking about drug addiction and death and amigos. I mean, just a year ago, give or take, we had a service at Amigos for a very young friend of mine that died. Yeah, Caleb.
Yep.
Yeah, fucking dear friend of mine.
Actually, a friend of mine I was hanging out with last night has a little spot for. He's got Caleb. He was a very good friend with Caleb, and Jason as well. You know, he's got a spot in the corner of his apartment, just for those dudes.
Well, the thing about Caleb is he was such a wild soul. Caleb he was not a drug addict. He definitely was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Which absolutely. Is whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, whatever. We all
are. It was worse when he was younger. He got DUIs when he was younger. He cleaned his shit up. He got his fucking license back. He had a job, and one girl. He had never done. I've done heroin. I've done heroin 100,000 slap. I've done heroin 100,000 times, and Caleb never. Not that I ever asked him to, but Caleb never did heroin with me. I've done cocaine around Caleb, and he was never the guy to pursue it. It was one fucking dumb bitch that had a bag, and it was a bad bag, and she just bounced, didn't call anything, and she's fucking walking the street right now like nothing's wrong, dude.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah. I won't say her name. Everyone knows her fucking name. I'm not gonna come out and say it.
I don't want to know her name.
But I've also known this girl for fucking 15 years, and it's just it's so crazy. Caleb, this girl, myself, we've all been in the music scene for a better part of our adult lives, and she just don't get me wrong, she's fucking hot. She's that scene girl. There's a reason Caleb was pursuing this girl. And
trust me, I worked at Amigos. I've seen Caleb pursue a lot of girls.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just this one fucking harlot, this one time. I'm getting a little choked up.
I get you.
Oh God, yeah. If you're gonna do drugs, dude, I'm never gonna say don't do drugs. Just do it the fucking smart way.
Be smart.
I buy a ball and I fucking waste a fifth of it testing it. Because I got 3 kids. I can't fucking die over fucking fentanyl in my Coke on a weekend. You know what I mean? It's also whack that we even are at this place as a society. If you're a fucking Coke dealer, bro, just deal fucking Coke.
Exactly.
Put baby laxative in it. Put fucking vitamin B in it.
Exactly.
And move along.
Exactly.
Move along, dude. Just give me some. Why do you want your customers to fucking? Why is money so important to you that you're willing to knock off half your fucking customers?
Why do you want to lose your customer?
Exactly.
That's how you lose your money.
Yeah.
On that criminal aspect, you that's the fucking thing you got to look at.
Makes no sense.
Why do you want to lose money? Because that's what you're doing is you're losing money.
Not only that, not only the death, but it scares people. After Caleb died, dude. I don't think I did cocaine. And granted, he didn't die from cocaine use, but I don't think I did cocaine for 9 to 11 to 12-ish months. And I'm the kind of guy that I'm a regular customer.
Yeah,
no matter what it is I'm doing, I'm a fucking regular. Yeah. I tip well. I fucking pay well.
Right.
I buy there's got to be 100 other me's out there. You know what I mean? That
exactly.
Why are you scaring away these people? Coke's supposed to be fucking fun.
But
all drugs are supposed to be fun.
Everybody's just trying to make everything. 2020 is the fucking shitball year,
dude. I'm over it. I'm fucking done. Hang the Christmas tree up. Call it a fucking year.
Yeah,
let's move on.
I don't even fucking celebrate holidays anymore.
Yeah, I do because I've got three little ones in my house.
You got little ones.
Yeah.
I mean, my kid's 22, so You know, he's not really into it. I'm not really into it.
Yeah.
You know, my mom's still into it, but I'm just like, stop. Don't send me a card with money. Like, you know, I love you, but you don't
Just send
gotta
the money.
do
Keep the
that.
card.
No, I don't even. Not even that. Like,
No, I
send your
know.
money. You know, because literally on Christmas Day, I'm gonna probably, if I don't have to work, just go down to the pub and sit there and drink and see some people and try to be merry and
Yeah.
you know, like it's one of those things.
I gotta pee.
Yeah.
This is going good, dude. I'm loving the flow.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
Your kid's 22?
Huh?
Your kid's 22?
22.
That's crazy.
I'm
like
I'm 42. So.
Boy or girl?
Boy.
You got like a grown ass man at home.
His name's Jacob. Yeah, actually, I just found out the other day through social media because I mean, he's like me and my dad. He works a lot.
Yeah.
And we just don't communicate.
Oh, dude, I feel you.
It's not that we don't want to. It's not that we don't care to. It's just as people who we are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just found out through social media that he has a girlfriend.
A girlfriend.
Yeah,
No shit.
And it's dark for him. You know, he was always a good kid in high school. You know, like played football, sports, this and that, and whatever, and got out, did college for like 6 months, and decided college wasn't for him.
Yeah.
Because he smokes a lot of weed.
I feel that.
And doesn't drink too much. But we took him out for his 21st.
Yeah. Does he live in the area?
He lives up in Orno.
Oh, okay.
But me and my boy Matt Burnham, love you, brother. Yeah, we got together, took him out. My boy Matt's he cultivates for medical dispensaries.
That's awesome.
And
I do want to get someone on here that fucking went through the battle with the state with marijuana and the licensing and all that shit.
I'm probably sure I could find you somebody.
Yeah.
But no, Matt came out. You know, we took him out. You know, we took him to Legends.
Hell yeah.
Amigos, Rosie's.
Rosie's, popcorn, and fucking dollar beers, man.
Yeah, you know, like,
I love that spot.
Took him out. You know, showed him the spots, and then, like, end of the night, we ended up at
PTs.
You know, he'd never been to a strip club before, so I was like, hey, it's 21st. We're going out to the strip club. So, yeah, Matt, fucking, dude just fucking throws money around and whatever, you know, and, you know, took care of him. And we found one satellite stage, you know, super hot Asian chick, this and that, whatever. Like, Jacob's just sitting there, just like, you know, deer in headlights.
Yeah.
You know? And Matt leans in as she's like getting ready to collect the money. He's like, it's his 21st birthday. And she's like, what? Springs back and does a fucking backflip and just buries her twat into his face.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He's just sitting there looking at me and I'm like, what do I do? Like, throw money at her, bro. Enjoy it.
Dude, so you're 42, you said?
42.
Okay, so I'm 29. So when I was 21, I was still in the industry I'm in now, and you know most of my bosses were 20 years my senior. So when I was 21, you know, I'd have drinks with dudes that were 41, 42, 45. You know, it wasn't weird because it's just like you're drinking with a boy. You know what I mean? When I turned 20 in October of 2012, or I think it was 2012. My son will be 9 in a couple of days. This is 2020. So 2011. I turned 20 in 2011 in October. I had my first son 2 months later in December. So I was 20 when I had him. So when I'm 41, my oldest child will be 21. Sure. I'll be a young ass man with a fucking drinking buddy in my house. My middle child will be.
That's where I'm at. You know?
Yeah, dude, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's fucking dope. You know, my middle child will be 16, 17. You know, and if nothing changes as far as like license ages and all that, I'll have a DD built in. Yeah. You know, and my daughter will be at home beating up my wife. But Yeah, dude, kids are fucking awesome. Ah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie. Like when he was growing up, I wasn't the best dad. I've had this discussion with him, and he's okay with it. He's like,
Well, you were young as fuck, dude.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
and he understands.
Yeah, you're
But I'm
literally,
like,
like,
you know, and I've apologized. I'm like, I'm sorry, you know, like I tried, but I wasn't the best dad.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care. He's like, you were there for all the holidays, the birthdays,
Right.
like, you care.
yeah.
You know, and I get it. And, like, I can talk to him about anything. And he knows he can talk to me. You know, I know, you know, everything he's done. You know?
Yeah.
And he knows he can talk to me about it. I have no prejudice.
Well, I mean, dude, same boat. Like, you know, so we were about the same age when we had our first kids.
Yeah.
You know, and I was, you know, addicted to drugs, and I was a fucking dishwasher. You know, and I was
I was 19 and fucking... As soon as I found out, that's actually the day I started drinking, was the day that I found out that she conceived.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and, you know, apologies definitely go a long way. Actions go a long way, too. You know,
Right.
Neither one of us, you know, we were raised by boomers, and boomers were not exactly the most, here's how to be a father.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, and all we can do is just hope that we've instilled better values than our fathers did. I'm not saying your father didn't give, you know, not talking shit about your dad.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, my dad, you know, was always there. You know? And you know, even when he was drinking and everything, you know, I fucking hold no anything to him. You know, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
I get it. You know,
biological
but at the end of it, you were there, and that's all I care about.
Yeah. My biological father, I saw him like 7 or 8 times in my life. He died when I was like 22, and I remember getting the call because I was on tour, and my mother called me and was like, you know, because at this point I was like 22 and I was looking for him again, and I'd been looking for him for like 6 years. You know, he's a hard guy to find, contract criminal. You know, and she called me and she's like, yeah, I got a letter from the state of Florida, blah, blah, blah. You know, your father's dead. And it had been so long since I'd seen him. And like, I had thought about it a million times. Like, what about when he dies? Like, how am I going to feel when he dies? Like, you know, is he going to meet my children? Can I find him before something happens? You know, all that shit. And I didn't. He never met any of my children. And, but I remember thinking, like, I probably won't care when he dies. It's been such a long time. He's had zero impact on my life. And I remember the day my mother called me. I was like, yeah, I got a letter from the state of Florida. Your father's dead. There's a $42 check here for the cash that he had in his wallet. It's got your name on it. You're listed as next of kin. Do you want it? And I was just like, no. And I hung up. And I don't give a fuck. Got to the venue that we were playing. I think we were in like middle of New Jersey or something at this point. And I like got out of the van and just died. You know what I mean? Just fucking came unglued.
Well, bro, that's gonna come back on you no matter what.
Yeah.
You can be whoever you are, the hardest fucking criminal in the world, or the fucking softest person in the fucking world. No matter what, you hear about that. No matter the connection you had, that's gonna come back.
Yeah.
It's gonna bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
Harder than you think it is.
Yeah.
You know, like it.
For me,
It
it wasn't
is.
so much the death of the past. Like, it
Right.
wasn't about what I had lost, but it was
Right.
about, like,
Just the fact that
that ends the
happened.
future.
Yeah.
There's nothing left. There's no
Exactly.
more looking for him.
Exactly.
There's no more maybe he meets my children. Like, it's just over.
Right.
And, you know, thankfully I was raised by somebody. My mom met, I didn't even know my biological dad wasn't my dad until I was like 7 or 8 years old. Because when I was 6 months old, my mother left my father.
Yeah.
And when I was about a year old, my mother married the man who I call dad to this day. His name's Randy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, you know, again, I was like 7 or 8, and my dad, Randy, walked into my room and he was like, dude, you're fucking too young to hear this, but I have to tell you something. These are the facts. You know, I'm not your biological father, because he had 3 sons of his own too, and they all had the last name Searbaugh, just like he did.
Yeah.
But it never really, I was too young to connect the dots. Like, why is my name different? And my mother's married to him, so her last name was Sierra, but I was the only Anderson. And he was like, this is a scenario. He was like, I'm going to feel like a piece of shit for the rest of my life if I don't tell you this. Do you want to meet him? And and I was 7. I was like, fly to Florida? Fuck yeah, let's do it. And because when you're 7, Florida is Disneyland when you're 7.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's nothing else. And I flew down there, and I got off the plane, and I flew by myself. And when you fly by yourself when you're a minor, there's this whole big program, and the stewardess take care of you, and they sit with you, and they flirt. It's a lot of fun.
I've never actually flown on a plane.
Oh, seriously?
No, never.
We'll figure that out
One day.
Yeah, soon. After COVID, we'll fly. We'll fly. We'll go to Tijuana.
All right.
I got off the plane.
Mexico, cocaine, horse, doggy shows.
I saw this guy, and he gave me a hug, and I felt nothing. You know what I mean? I was like, this isn't my dad. It might be my father, but it's not my dad.
Right.
And I met him a couple more times in my life. Lived with him for a while. There was a time where I lived with him in Florida, and I didn't see him for 9 months, and I had no idea why.
Wow.
Because he used to get arrested all the time. Because he was a criminal. You Google him, and he
just career criminal.
Yeah, for big names in Florida. I won't.
Yeah.
I don't say. You can Google him and figure it out pretty quickly. But yeah, and I don't remember what brought me to this point. Oh, fathers. Yeah. Anyway, fathers are cool. Fathers are whack. Dads are cool. Dads are whack. I don't know. Oh yeah, my whole point was
I'm one of those whack dads. So.
You've got a kid. You're at the age that I'm excited to be at when my oldest is able to drink and I'm able to go out with him. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And we just hope to be better dads than our dads were. That was my whole point. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but that's my thing is I never hold any animosity to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I love my dad dearly.
Yeah.
I think the world of him. He just spent most of Thanksgiving and everything in the hospital.
Oh shit!
Thought he's had a hard year. Had to have heart surgery. A couple other things. His kidneys shit the bed.
Yeah.
He's on dialysis every day for the rest of his life.
Oh fuck.
Which sucks.
Yeah, it does.
But he thought he had an ingrown toenail, and then his left big toe turned black. So that's now amputated.
Yeah.
Because he also has
diabetes.
Okay. So now he just last week he got transferred to a living facility, which I know he's not thrilled about.
Yeah.
But he's like me. He'll try to reach out to me, or I'll try to reach out to him. But we're both just so busy with our lives. It's not that we don't want to talk to each other, because I love him. I would love to talk to him right now if I could. But
call him?
I know he's sleeping.
Oh, okay.
It's not we're trying to avoid each other. We just know we're busy.
Yeah.
I got my work ethic from him and my grandfather. He gets it.
You know who does want to talk to you right now?
Who's ahead?
Hold on. This sweet lady right here. So she did not leave me something to read to you because she...
Rick, what's up, baby? I have no idea what this is for, but I promise that I will never miss out on an opportunity to tell someone that I love them, especially in a public forum, if you will. I'm also wondering if there's the other side of this, because it's all about balance. So is there a group of people that also want to kick your ass leaving you messages as well? If so, I can't wait to hear that.
I'm not wrong.
But whatever it's for, I think that, and I love to tell you all the time, but I love you, huge, big. Our relationship is based on love and loyalty, kindness, honesty, trust. You have been there for me so much lately, and since the beginning, and vice versa, and that'll never change. I'm very proud of you. I think that this year
Hold on, it keeps going. It only let it send like minute-long segments.
This year has been one of struggle and perseverance. Lots of love, but lots of loss for myself, you, and for all of our friends. But I take comfort in knowing that through all of that, we are unbreakable. You are a pillar of strength for me. And I know that it's usually the other way around, but don't ever knock that on yourself. You are a beast. A very sensitive, sweet, genuine, kind beast that I am so very grateful for. And I'm very proud of you. Looking forward to a really wonderful 2021 and the rest of our lives together as friends, and loving and laughing our tits off and drinking all night and going to 7-Eleven to eat raviolis out of a can. Because that's high-class living right there. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Anderson, for asking me to be a part of this. It really means a lot to me, too.
Hold on.
They cut me off. I love you. Thanks again, Matt, for asking me to be a part of this. Everybody loves Rick, and we are all very grateful to have him in our world. Thanks, guys.
Hold on.
This isn't like some weird porno thing, is it?
Oh, man. Gigi killed it.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Gigi killed it. She thinks I'm a little less rude than your other friend.
Kills it, dude. That's my dog. I love her so much.
Oh man, when I heard that, because obviously I listened to it, when she sent it,
Yeah.
just to make sure she wasn't going cunt.
She could have easily.
Yeah. But dude, I mean that just goes to show like the impact that the proverbial we, but the literal you have on our community and our friends, man.
Both of those girls mean so much to me. Like they're like my sisters.
Yeah.
Like, I have a sister. We don't talk,
Sure.
but those girls have impacted my life so hard.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting teary because
it's
fucking hilarious.
It was so good. It was so good.
But it was so sweet. And same with Jude.
Yeah.
I love them. I love them both so much, and
Well, it's obvious that they love you too, man.
I know, it's like we were talking about Jay earlier, and Jay was dating Gigi when he died.
Oh no shit.
And that was huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
And I feel for her. I feel for all of our friends. But I met Gigi and Judy like right after my separation. And those girls have made me feel like more of a family than anything.
Yeah. It's obvious that they care about you, man.
No, I know they do. But
Well, Jude and Gigi, Rick loves you. Thank you so much for your contribution.
I love you both so much. Sorry.
No, brother, it's totally fine. On my last podcast that I did with Anthony, dude, I cried for like 30 straight minutes in that podcast. Honestly, that's so important.
I work with him and I do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's usually because we're crying laughing.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I mean, he is definitely hilarious.
No,
but
Anthony DeRice is... He's my brother. Like, I love that. He actually... The first day I trained on a bar, he trained me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He said he loves doing that kind of stuff.
He does. But I know... Knowing Anthony now. Every time he asked me to reach for the Chambord on the top shelf, I know what you were doing, brother.
Was he looking at your ass?
Yeah. But anyway, that's just how we are. And I love him, and I would do anything for that dude.
Yeah.
Like, one thing anybody, and I can't even understand how anybody could have a thought in this world, especially in this day and age. I never understood it when I was growing up. Anybody who hates gay people, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You're fucking stupid.
Burn
Love
in
is
a well.
love. Do what you gotta do. You know, I don't care. I don't care who you are, who you love, what you do. Love who you are, love who you love, and love what you do.
Agreed,
Fuck
man.
that.
Agreed. Who's this fancy kitty on the screen?
That's Skiba.
Skiba? Tell me about Skiba, dude.
Little Meg at Legends volunteers at an animal shelter. And as soon as she found out I could have a cat at my new place, she was on the hunt. She sent me a picture of this little asshole one day. And I was like, I think that's my dude. I think that's my dude.
So,
And
I don't know if this is like a photo edit, but this looks like the Northern Lights, man. Like, you see this right in the throat?
you know what that is?
I don't.
That was why it looks like that is because it's shredded as fuck. But that was a PBR bow tie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he shredded it to fuck.
Yeah,
so
as
it's like
cats
the
do.
Northern Lights, apparently.
Dude, I love cats, man.
But yeah, I got him as Orion, and he had another name. I'm not even gonna get into that, but I named him after Matt Skiba from Alkaline Trio,
Yeah.
because I love Alkaline Trio.
Dude, so I have a cat who is also a rescue, who I love very, very much. His name is Archie, short for Archibald, of course. Yep. And so, you know, I've touched on it lately here and there, but, you know, I was homeless for a lot of years, and I'm obviously from Florida. And obviously Florida had the flooding and the hurricanes a couple years back, and nobody wants to adopt. By the way, fucking, what is it? Adopt, don't shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, adopt, don't shop.
Always.
Dude, 100% adopt, don't shop.
I will never shop. I'll always adopt.
Yeah. So.
And Skiba is a rescue.
Yeah.
He came from I think Georgia.
Oh, probably. Pretty.
He came from the south.
Yeah, it might have been for the same reason.
Yeah.
So when the hurricanes happened, a bunch of animals got displaced, and unfortunately, part of their trajectory towards death is they start in the south and they go up the East Coast. When they hit the East Coast, if they're not adopted, they're dead. Right? They kill a lot of animals. It's super unfortunate. And you know, if I could have a podcast that made $1 million a year, I'd donate, you know, 3/4 of that to saving animals.
I wish.
But my
animals are, as far as I think, it's pretty obvious they don't have a say.
Yeah.
You know, and they deserve the best life.
100%. So my wife brings
even you know, being a carnivore or whatever, like, you know, like, why would you not want that dude to live in your house?
Yeah.
You know, he's the best.
My wife brings
He might fucking wake me up in the middle of the night and lick me and be like, "Hey, I need to eat." It's like, dude, you just ate fucking 5 hours ago.
Right.
Fuck off.
There's a animal refuge in Westbrook.
Yep.
And you know, we have a couple of pets, and my wife brings my kids there all the time to, like, you know, spend some time with these animals because they don't always get that.
Yeah.
And she'll try to pick like the oldest or the ugliest.
Yeah.
Because those are all obviously the ones that also get the most neglected.
No,
Not neglected by like the shelter, but like they're the least likely to be
by
adopted.
people.
Yeah. And so she sees this fat fucking cat, and he just looks pissed. Like he just has like the scowl on it. Like it doesn't look mean, just like, you know. And it says he's a displaced cat from Florida. So she's like, this is an angry-looking cat who's homeless from Florida.
How much meth does he have?
Method?
Meth.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, like, for her, it was like, this is obviously Matt's embodiment of an animal, a homeless cat from Florida who looks angry all the time. And my oldest son, you know, knows very much who I am and where I came from. and you know how far I've brought myself. But she was like, he was like, you know, Mom, I feel like Dad has to own this cat. It just makes sense. And so I come home one day and there's this fat fucking, what I don't know what the color is called. Like he's got like black and gray and like some brown, like you know, short hair, but like all those colors.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, picture him.
Probably on my phone. I don't on my laptop.
You should.
You know what? When I produce this episode, I will find and I'll edit in a photo of him so that people can see it. But his name's Archie, and I came home and the cat's here, and I'm like, and she's like,
Why is he not on the table?
Yeah, I know. She was like, I don't know why I bought this cat. He fucking hates everybody. She was like, you know, this is like the funny story. This is why I bought him. And I walk over to him. I'm like, hey man, and like that second, we're best friends.
Yeah.
You know, and now he loves everyone in the house. But it was so weird. Like the homeless cat from Florida loved nobody in my home. I came home from work and we're best friends. And we're still best friends, you know, and we will be for as long as he'll let me.
This dude, you could walk in with a chainsaw and a fucking mask, and this fucking cat would be like, "Yo, what's up?
Let's hang." Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
He's like, "You got food?" Like if he was a watchdog, he'd be fired in a second.
Yeah. Oh man,
But I love him. He's the best. He's a good dude.
he does look awesome.
Yeah. We have fun together.
What is this one? This was fuck it, playing them all.
A lot of records during quarantine I was listening to.
I do like the fact. So I picked these at random. Not at random. I don't roll a fucking dice, but I picked this before I saw you today.
Right.
And there's a Madball album on top, and you're wearing a Madball shirt.
Fuck yeah.
I do love that. Which out of this stack, what's your top three of in this photo? What are your top three?
I'm gonna go with that Madball dropping many suckers. I actually was just listening to a podcast recently.
Who was it?
What podcast was it? It might have. I don't know. It might have been Hoya's Smoking Word podcast. And you might have had Freddie on there. Or it might have been Freddie on Post America podcast. I don't know. But on that album, so a friend of mine from Old Town moved down to Long Island years ago. And he had made a post with a bunch of 7 inches. And he's like, found these at a flea market, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is actually at First Press. And he's like, give me a price, I'll send them to you. So I was like, so it was that Hatebreed's first 7-inch.
Oh, no shit.
And a Vision Disorder 7-inch and like a couple others. And I was like, $30, mail it to me. And he's like, what's your address?
No way.
PayPal'd him and he sent it to me. So, but on the podcast that I was listening to, so anybody who doesn't know anything about Madball. So Madball was a procreation of...
Towards you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Good?
Yeah.
All right. So Madball was a procreation because in the 80s and early 90s, Freddie Madball is Roger Moret from Agnostic Front's little brother. So they would tour with him when he was 9. There's fucking photos everywhere.
That's really cool.
Of him performing with AF. And like at one point they were on tour with like Napalm Death and Obituary or something. And Roger got ill, had to go home. And they were like, Freddie can sing these songs.
No way.
10 years old. And if you ever get a chance to read Roger Moret's book, do it because it's really fucking cool.
That's killer. I didn't know that.
But so it ended up Madball ended up being like the practice thing for Freddie, while they were on tour with Madball. So they released Ball of Destruction, which the album is like Freddie at 9, Madball written on his knuckles,
Yeah.
He looks like a vampire kid, but with this Madball logo. But this was the second thing, and it was before Hoya was in the band. So, going back to it, this album cover, the only person focused in the picture is Freddie. Everybody else in the background wasn't even a member of Madball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Danny Diablo's in the background. There's a bunch of fucking DMS dudes in the background out of focus. Freddie's the only one in focus. And it's a pretty important hardcore album. But that's my first one. The second one would be the one that looks like it has the atom bomb.
Yep.
That is the Polyglot Fall from Grace Split 7. And a lot of people don't know about Polyglot. Back in the day in Maine, southern Maine especially, but from where I grew up, they would come up and play all the time. Polyglot was a great fucking band. But a lot of people don't know that their guitarist ended up being the bassist for Blood for Blood.
Oh, no shit.
And he does not like to talk about that band. I've even actually talked to Ian. Ian actually went on after Blood for Blood to produce the Godfathers of Hardcore documentary about Agnostic Front. But I've actually talked to Ian. I'm like, if I start another band, do you care if I use Child Killer? He's like, take that fucking song. I don't care. He's like, I don't even want to think about that band. He's like, yeah, have at it, bro. But he produced one of the greatest hardcore documentaries ever.
No shit.
And he's worldwide renowned. He did such a good job on that documentary. And if anybody hasn't seen that documentary, they need to fucking watch it, because if you don't like hardcore, or you do, it's history. And he did a great fucking job. Rick Rowland, you did a great fucking job, bro.
So what's number 3?
Number 3,
in no particular order.
I'm gonna have to say the Blood for Blood Soulless.
Okay.
Soulless is the best song that band ever wrote. And it's hard, it's hitting, it's heavy.
Yeah.
I saw Blood for Blood for the first time in 1996, I think. 95. And I don't remember it, honestly. But the second time I saw him in 97 was actually on that release. And the Hurt You EP, the best hardcore show I've ever seen in my life, was in July of 97. We took a bus down to Boston. Well, we drove to Portland, took a bus to Boston. Me and my best friend stayed at his uncle's. The two friends that came with us were like, well, we don't have a spot for you, bro. So, it was one of those things. So they ended up walking the streets of Boston all night. But they were the first people in line for the show. But we saw Earth Crisis, Madball, Marauder, and Blood for Blood when Gina was playing bass before Ian, which was the OG lineup.
Yeah.
And I was 18 years old. And we're going to go back in time right now. So, when I was a senior in high school, the club that I had been going to had become the Sound House. My friend Ed was running it. So one night we had a show. It was in December. I don't remember the date. 96. And it was like Torque, Moment of Truth, a couple other bands. And it was a wild show. Like, all these bands, all Portland bands, coming up north, playing, like, I'm a year and a half into it at this point, whatever. Loving it. And some of these guys are good friends to me to this day. But I'd never met them before. And, so the show goes off. We're all having fun, this and that, whatever. I'm naive, whatever. And then, like, this one kid that I went to school with flicks a cigarette at somebody. See, and here's something that a lot of kids newer listening to this probably don't know. You don't know about the 90s, like, going into a club or venue, whatever, and the smell, the mixture of smell of blood, piss, sweat, puke, like smoke, like, because you could smoke in clubs at the time.
Yeah.
Like you don't know that, and that also brought to the element of danger.
Sure.
And so this dude flicks a cigarette at this dude he doesn't even fucking know. This place is packed. This is like 150 kids deep. Maybe 200. This place erupts like a fucking soccer riot in Old Town, Maine. Like, I watched one of my friends get his 10th concussion that night. Ooh. I watched another friend take, those chippers that you chip the ice off the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him take that across the face while his hair was being held back.
Oh, my God.
Like, it was a wild fucking night. Like, we had to spray the blood off the floor.
Ugh.
It was one of those nights. And in the 90s, that was a thing.
Pretty typical, yeah.
Like, nowadays, fucking somebody would fucking cry about it, fucking run away, piss them on to the cops, this and that, whatever. Back in the day, keep your mouth shut and wash the blood off. And, whoever gets arrested gets arrested. That's just how it was. And so, moving forward back to that show in 97, I left that show with a mouthful of blood.
Yeah.
It was all, big
Rite of passage.
Big dudes with letters on their fucking chest and shit, fucking jumping off the fucking side of the fucking bar and shit, and, but it was a great time. Yeah, and it doesn't scare me to this day.
Yeah, the only thing I was ever concerned about going to show, I just didn't want to lose any fucking teeth.
Yeah.
Like, my teeth have been fucked up so many times. I have lost teeth. Thankfully, back teeth. But...
I get many teeth pulled.
Yeah.
Run your mouth, you lose a few more.
How about this one, man?
I don't even want to fucking talk about that.
No?
Fuck 2020. Dude, are you kidding me? Look at that fucking lineup.
I know. it didn't wind up happening,
Dude,
right?
no, we got the tickets too.
Yeah.
Like, I literally jerked off to that flyer 3 times before COVID hit. Like, are you kidding me?
That would have been a wild night.
That was 2 days of shows.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Fucking COVID 2020.
Oh, this fucking year, dude. Like, I missed so many fucking shows. That was a fucking wild night.
Is this at the
That was at Gino's.
Yeah.
Dude, how hammered am I in that picture?
Tell me. You're still standing.
Yeah, fucked a lot of people up that night too. That might have been top 3 Cruel Hand shows.
I was at that show.
Yeah,
That
was a fun show.
I would, to be honest,
I think actually a year before that is when I got my nose broken.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was not down.
because
on
I was
that
at the Cheap Life video shoot. Jamie Corcoran, you motherfucker.
Yeah, that was a good
Look
fucking
up,
show.
see an ass, boom. My
get your nose broken by an
ex-wife
ass?
girlfriend at the time was like, "Be safe." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do that." And I sent her a picture with my hand, literally with a pool of blood.
Wait, did you just say you got your nose broken by an ass?
Yeah, my friend Jamie.
That's awesome.
No, I looked up. I'm like, "You motherfucker," because I see who was coming. like turn around, like stick around, and just fucking boom.
Ass blasted. Ass blasted. That's what I pulled from socials. We've covered a lot in the last 2+ hours.
Yeah, we could probably cover a ton more too.
We could, man, but I think I'd like to do a part 2.
I think we could do that.
Yeah. And you said you might want to bring.
I have a couple people I think I could probably bring on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name names till I secure it.
Yeah, I feel that, man. Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming down, dude. I've had a blast.
Trust me. This has been fun.
We've had some beers. We've had solid
I
conversation.
think we could actually make this a segment.
Yeah. So one of the things I was thinking was when I bring people, when I have episodes that are influenced by hardcore music, like I think I'd like to have you on as like a co-host.
Absolutely.
Just because of like your general knowledge on the subject.
Yeah.
But for tonight, dude, I think, like I said, this is a great spot to wrap it up, and I really appreciate
I appreciate
you
you having
coming
me
down.
on, man.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple of beers before we started. We've had some beers now. We've talked about music. We've talked about life. Dude, I've had a great time. Before we do wrap it up, are there any socials? Are there any businesses? Is there anything you want to shout out? Anything I can link in the description that you want to see the viewers of this episode support?
Absolutely, and I could actually go on this for a little bit.
Take it. Floor is yours.
We're living in very, very uncertain times. We don't know what the fuck's going on right now. We have to listen to the fucking idiots in office and this and that and whatever. I don't care your opinion or what you think or what you want. Support local businesses. Do what's right. Wear your fucking mask. Let's get the fuck out of this pandemic. Please. I just want to go to a fucking show. Seriously. Like, just shut up. Get your fucking rhetoric and shove it up your ass. I don't care. Support local businesses. Do the right thing. Wear your mask. And help everybody out. Let's just get the fuck out of this. You know? Your point is literally so mute that you don't get it. Like, none of us get it. Like, you're stumped. You're stupid. Shove your rhetoric up your ass. Do the right thing. Wear your mask. Support local businesses. And support your bartenders and restaurants before you can't. And you have to sit home and eat your fucking mac and cheese from a fucking box.
That'll be the fade out. That's perfect. Awesome,
Sorry,
man.
that's a thing
No, that was fucking beautiful.
That was